Kids aren't born knowing how money works. But what if they could learn before mistakes cost them? From Lagos to London, Mumbai to Manhattan, this is the global guide to raising financially wise kids. Because money isn't just math, it's mindset. Raising a generation of money-smart kids isn't about creating millionaires by age 10. It's about empowering them with a fundamental life skill that will serve them long after they've left the nest. It's about building a foundation of confidence, competence, and character. Financial literacy is the universal language of opportunity, and the lessons we impart today will echo through their futures, shaping their decisions, their stability, and their ability to build the life they envision. This journey isn't a lecture, it's a series of conversations, experiences, and habits built over time, tailored to their evolving understanding of the world. It's about transforming abstract numbers into tangible tools for achieving their dreams. Age 2-5. Play-based money awareness. The journey begins in the sandbox of their imagination, between the ages of 2 and 5. This is the era of play-based money awareness. The goal here isn't to teach them about stock portfolios, but to introduce the very concept of exchange. A toy cash register and a pretend grocery store become powerful classrooms. When they sell you an apple for a plastic coin, they're learning that goods and services have value, and that money is the medium we use to trade for them. Introduce them to real coins and bills, letting them touch and feel the different shapes and sizes. As recommended by parenting resources like Parentintel, this is the perfect time to introduce a visual savings jar. When they see the coins piling up for a small toy they want, they're not just learning to count, they're learning their first lesson in patience and goal setting. It's a tangible, visual representation of a powerful idea. Small efforts, accumulated over time, lead to big rewards. Age 6-10, earning, saving, and spending. As children transition into the 6 to 10 age bracket, the lessons graduate from pretend play to practical application. This is the golden age for introducing the 3 core pillars of personal finance: earning, saving, and spending. An allowance, tied to specific chores, is an excellent tool. It shifts their understanding of money from something that magically appears to something that is earned through effort and responsibility. This isn't about paying them for basic household citizenship, like making their bed, but for tasks that go above and beyond. A powerful visual aid during this stage is the 3-jar system: 1 for saving, 1 for spending, and 1 for giving. When they receive their allowance, they physically divide the money among the jars. This simple act teaches them to be intentional with their resources. The spending jar gives them autonomy, the saving jar teaches delayed gratification, and the giving jar plants the seeds of generosity. As financial expert Dave Ramsey's team often notes, kids learn best through real-life experiences, allowing them to make small, controlled spending mistakes like buying a cheap toy that breaks is a more effective lesson than 100 lectures. Age 11-14. Budgeting and delayed gratification. The pre-teen and early teenage years, from ages 11 to 14, are a critical turning point. Their cognitive abilities are more advanced, and so our financial lessons must be too. This is the time to introduce the concept of budgeting and the power of delayed gratification on a larger scale. Move beyond the physical jars to digital tools. Budgeting apps designed for kids, like Bisikid or Yalowance, can help them track their income from chores or gifts and allocate it toward specific goals. Instead of just saving for later, encourage goal-based saving. Help them calculate how many weeks of saving their allowance it will take to buy that new video game or pair of sneakers. This exercise transforms an abstract desire into a concrete plan, teaching them planning and discipline. It's also vital during this stage to reinforce the link between effort and reward. The allowance should be a commission for work done, an entitlement. This mindset prepares them for the reality of the professional world, where income is directly tied to the value one provides. Age 15-18. Investing, credit, and real-world tools. By the time they reach high school, from ages 15 to 18, it's time to introduce the concepts that will prepare them for financial independence. This is where we talk about wealth creation, not just money management. Introduce the magic of compound interest, the idea that their money can earn money. A simple chart showing how a small, regular investment can grow exponentially over time can be a true eye-opener. This is also the time to discuss risk versus reward using kid-friendly investment apps like Greenlight or Gahenry, which allow them to invest small amounts in fractional shares with parental oversight. Discussing the difference between a high-risk stock and a low-risk savings account helps them understand that greater potential returns often come with greater potential losses. As financial advisory firms like the Welch Group recommend, this early exposure to investing basics demystifies the stock market and builds a foundation for long-term wealth building. We can also introduce the concept of credit, explain what a credit score is, how interest on debt works, and the profound difference between good debt, like a student loan for education, and bad debt, from a high-interest credit card used for discretionary spending. Global strategies. Crucially, these lessons cannot be taught in a vacuum. Culture profoundly shapes our money habits, and our teaching must be contextual. In the United States, the financial education model often revolves around allowance-based budgeting and early introduction of youth debit cards to teach responsible spending. Meanwhile, in China, financial education is seamlessly integrated into daily life through fintech super apps, where even young users are exposed to mobile saving and investment products within the same platform they use for communication and entertainment. In Nigeria, the explosion of fintech apps like Cowrywise and OPay has democratized saving and investing, making it accessible for young people to start building wealth with just a mobile phone. In India, a strong cultural emphasis on saving is passed down through generations, with family-led financial discussions and an early introduction to systematic investment plans, or SIPs, being common practice. And in the United Arab Emirates, the financial landscape includes Sharia-compliant youth banking tools that align with Islamic finance principles, teaching ethical and responsible money management from a young age. Understanding these global strategies shows us that while the principles are universal, the tools and methods must be culturally relevant. Mistakes to avoid. As we guide them on this journey, there are several critical mistakes to avoid. First, avoid making money a taboo topic. Secrecy breeds ignorance and anxiety. When we speak openly and honestly about our family's budget, our savings goals, and even our financial mistakes, we normalize the conversation and equip our children with the vocabulary and confidence to manage their own finances later. Second, don't skip the generosity lessons. Teaching kids to give a portion of their money away instills empathy and shows them that money is a tool not just for personal gain, but for community impact. It broadens their perspective beyond their own wants and needs. Finally, and most importantly, do not delay financial education until adulthood. Waiting until they're about to leave for college to have the money talk is like trying to teach someone to swim as the boat is sinking. The lessons need to be small, consistent, and age-appropriate, building a solid foundation over many years. The most powerful way to fix these potential missteps is through storytelling and open, ongoing conversations. Share stories of your own financial wins and losses. Use everyday moments, like a trip to the grocery store, as teachable opportunities. Conclusion: money lessons aren't just for the rich, they're for the ready. They are a universal right, an essential piece of a complete education that empowers children to navigate the complexities of the modern world with confidence and skill. By starting these conversations early and continuing them often, we can demystify finance and transform it from a source of stress into a tool for empowerment. Let's commit to teaching early and teaching often. Let's raise a generation that's not just smart with their money, but wise. Grow relentlessly.